The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash, a roundtable of Cowboys insiders dropping wisdom and offering sizzling takes on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys. Now, your host, Newy Scruggs.
Here we are, everybody. Media Mash coming your way. What an exciting week here in Dallas-Fort Worth sports overall. Cowboys and the NFL released their schedule yesterday. But day before that, the Stars end up winning Game 3. So they're one win away from the Western Conference Finals. And then before that, we got Nico Magic. Doggone Dallas Mavericks win the lottery, man. It's a good time to live in this area, man. It is a good time to be a sports fan in this area right now.
Yes, I agree with that.
And the schedule release is very cool. So Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com, joins us right now. The author, former columnist, Jean-Jacques Taylor, covered the Cowboys beat for many years. I am Newy Scruggs here on this Media Mash. The Cowboys get their 3 NBC games as always. That's the max you can get. So 3 on NBC. They're on Monday Night Football twice. They play 4 Thursday games. Jack, I can't recall the last time they had 4 Thursday games.
I don't think they've ever had 4 Thursday.
Nobody's ever had 4 Thursday games.
Right.
But they're not real Thursday games, even though they're on Thursday. Because like the opener, you got all summer to get ready for it.
Okay.
And then you playing the Thursday after you play on Thanksgiving, so you got a full week to get ready for that. So while they are on Thursday, it's only 2 with short rest.
Right.
And one of them ruins Christmas if you are of that nature. Now, see me, this about number 5 or 6 on Christmas Day, so it just is what it is.
And
comes
so,
with the meal.
Right, it comes with the meal. But so, and we talked a little bit about this on the Players Lounge, that challenge of a Christmas Day game on the road is you're now traveling on Christmas Eve.
Oh, they got you both now. They took out both days now. It's like a 7-10 split, dog.
And you're working Thanksgiving Day as usual. So and just how you navigate it. And that's and in talking to Anthony Dorsett and talking to Trey Morris, players, how do you do this? Because on a football team, you have so many different types of players. You got young guys who are going through, then you got married guys, and you got older veteran guys, and that handling that. And then of course the family thing that goes with it, the aspect.
Young guys don't care because they're gonna fly whoever into DC. Old guys with families, depending on how old your kids are. If they 2 or 3, it might not be so bad. If they 7 or 8, yeah, it's a problem. Spoken from experience.
Right. And what makes it tougher is that's one of the 2 weeks where it is a short week, right? Where they only have, I think, Jean-Jacques brought it up where there's one where they've got Thursday week. Just in terms of like they get a Thursday and then they get a week off before the next Thursday game, so it's not really a short week. And then the season opener is, you get a long break in between week 1 and week 2. So that is what makes it difficult because you think they're traveling on, not only are they traveling on Christmas Eve, but they really only get 2 days. They got Monday and Tuesday to
a short prep week.
An even shorter prep week because you're going on the road. So that's what's going to make it tough. And of course, they're also playing 2 teams that made the playoffs last year in Los Angeles on Sunday and then the Commanders on Thursday. So that's going to be a tough stretch, and it's part of that back end of those last stretch of games from week 12 to 17,
right,
where it's just a gauntlet. All teams that made the playoffs, it's the good thing they get some of them at home, but man, it's a tough stretch.
So Tommy, let's kind of stay right here in that second Thursday game because Jock, I think you're correct. All right, first game September 4th. It's all summer long what you got to do
right
to get ready for that one. But that next Thursday game is Thanksgiving. Well, you have to play Philadelphia. At least you get them at home, but you play Philly November 23rd. Then you got to turn around and face Kansas City. So you got Super Bowl teams right here.
Yep.
So when you're talking about that, man, that's the intensity of just like, hey, here's what's going on. Man, those are 2 tough matchups. And then for your second Thursday game, which will be on Christmas, you got to go take on the LA Chargers. It's at home, but still, a Jim Harbaugh team is going to be physical.
That's what I was thinking. The same thing.
2 physical football teams.
Same thing when you're talking about the Eagles going into Kansas City. It's a divisional game. At that point, you still hope that you expect them to be playing for something, so it's going to be a meaningful game. So it's going to be high energy, high intensity, very physical. And then you got to come up off of that and play Kansas City. And so, I'm with you, man, on the thing with the Commanders because we all know he's going to be running that 12 personnel this year. He got the big back, O'Marion Hampton. Now he can really lean on you. So I mean, that's what Jim Harbaugh does. So you had best expected to what's a coach used to say, buckle up your chin strap, because it's gonna be all day.
Yeah. This is so just looking at how the schedule's kind of set up here and looking at these games, man. These are tough challenges, and the schedule is. We knew it was going to be a challenge for the Cowboy team having to face the AFC West and the NFC North. You just knew that these were probably the two toughest divisions outside of your own that you had to go face in this league. So this 2025 schedule, looking at it based off last year's results, we know every year it's going to change. It ain't easy.
I think and I was arguing with our favorite former member Clarence E. Hill Jr. About this earlier. 4-6 on the road to start sounds daunting, but if you are who you're supposed to be, you got to be able to beat the Bears, the Jets, the Panthers. And theoretically, Cowboys the last few years have been a good road team. They've been solid. They haven't been one of those teams that's scared to play on the road or can't function on the road. And so they have to they had to start fast. We can use that later as a segue to get into quit playing with Micah, because you don't need him spending the first month getting right because he done held out all the camp. They need to start fast because that end is going to be filthy.
Yeah, that's the key part to this season, right? Those first 9 games. Can you go into the bye 6-3? I think maybe you could even make an argument of 5-4. Do you feel like that's going to be enough to position you for that back half of the season where it's just grueling? I mean, you look at the Raiders, that's a team that, after that long of a bye, because they get an extra day with it being a Monday Night Football game, that's a game where you got to go on the road and win. But where I think the Cowboys in that backstretch last season, we were just so surprised that they were not as good as they were at home. I mean, there was a stretch where they won, 16 straight games at home. And, the good part about that murderer's row that we were talking about is they get 4 of those games at AT&T Stadium in Philly, Kansas City, Minnesota, and LA. So, that's the advantage of it. But then you go on the road at Detroit. I mean, that's just a brutal game that you got to play right after you play the 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl. But, Minnesota, they lost their quarterback. You got an unknown in J.J. McCarthy. A lot of changes on the defensive side of the ball, too. What is that going to look like? The Chargers got one of the perfect fits, I think, in the draft in Amari and Hampton in terms of what Jim Harbaugh's trying to do.
Correct.
So
now I will throw this out there, and I was kicking this around about Detroit. Will Detroit take a step back because they lost both coordinators?
So I guess you and I have known each other too long, because that was the exact thing that I was coming to when Tommy brought it up here is, you know what? How do you make the adjustment because 2 guys are gone? The last time we saw that, just really specifically in the NFC East was when Philly lost both guys. When they lost their coach to Indianapolis, Steichen goes to Indy, and then Gannon goes out there to Arizona, and they took a step back.
Especially because Ben Johnson, one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. So you just can't say, next man up, we're going to run it. It ain't going to work like that. So it'll be interesting. Now, this is later in the year, so whatever adjustments and difficulties they may have had, they may have ironed them out by then. But it's interesting, and I think, I don't expect the Vikings to win 14 games this year. J.J. McCarthy's a rookie. He's going to go through whatever rookie problems rookie quarterbacks have.
Regression to the mean usually takes place, and we know per NFL schedule.
Yeah, see, that's why somebody got an MBA when they use the proper terminology. Recession to the mean. Yeah, see, I don't throw out my Big Ten education like that because I don't have to, but sometimes I understand. TC, you want to throw out that recession to the mean stuff? Okay, it's all good. We're going to talk about macro, micro when it comes to Micah contract now?
No. Just but we just know every year there's going to be we're going to have a boatload of teams that don't make it. We look at there's going to be 5 or 6 teams who made it last year, not going to make it this year.
But do you feel like with the Lions, their personnel, especially on offense, makes it kind of like, okay, anybody can be the offensive coordinator when you've got Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Sam Laporta. And obviously you've got to be able to do certain things the right way.
Young Tommy, how old are you?
Offensive line, 21.
See, this is what I'm talking about, man. Smell like Similac over there. That's what babies be drinking. You know who said those very words one time?
Who said that?
Jerry Jones said that one time.
I'm just saying I'm not saying
any one of 500 offensive coordinators can run the Lions offense.
No, he said any one of 500 coaches. Any one of 500 coaches is going to coach the team in the Super Bowl.
It's a good point. But I'm saying, does their grouping of personnel make it more seamless in terms of the transition?
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more, and then I'm gonna quit being a funny guy. You know, in a lot of respects, Dave Shula had the same offense Norv Turner had. With Dave Shula, nobody heard of them triplets. With Norv Turner, we win the Super Bowls and drinking Dom Perignon around here.
It's never as easy as people think.
Like, do you think they can replace you down there in Austin, man? Like it's like that? No.
More than likely.
No. You don't give yourself enough credit. You don't give yourself enough credit.
There will be an adjustment because anybody, I mean, it's just like with Shadi here. He's got his own ideas.
Right.
So, whoever you bring in next is going to have their own ideas. And we saw, you look at the last three coordinators that Philadelphia had offensively. All three guys were very different. And the results, 2 times they went to the Super Bowl, 1 time they didn't. So this is going to be an adjustment for Detroit. How much it matters, we'll see. But I do believe there's something to that. I'm with Jacques on this. Yeah. It's different because everybody.
Some of it is just how you like. We got the weapons, we got the pieces. Some of it is just how you set the game up and call it.
Right.
How I tricked you in the first quarter so I can bust you in the third and the fourth quarter.
Right. And I agree with you guys. That's why I was posing the question. It's like how much of a difference does it make when? Because I think defensively, that's where you're going to see the change for them because they were so banged up last year. You don't know what Aiden Hutchinson is going to come back and look like too. And how does Terrion Arnold take the next step? Can he stop getting flags thrown on him every time that they go downfield on him? And so that would be my thing. Just offensively, when you've got so many great pieces, does that make it? Again, nothing's going to be seamless because it's different offensive
Right, you just hit the easy button and go.
Exactly. Yeah. That's more what I was looking for.
I've learned not to do that.
Right.
Not to do that because
they're going to be good. It's just a matter will they be. Last year they were elite.
Right.
So will they be good or will they be elite?
And they've been elite the last 2 years, and it's just the nature of the NFL just doesn't let you stay on top very long.
No.
What Kansas City's done has been remarkable. We saw with New England. That's why they're dynasties, and they've got quarterbacks that go in the Hall of Fame.
Those are both great examples because they both had great coaches, great quarterbacks. Because part of the reason it's hard to sustain success, and part of the reason all these teams flip in the playoffs every year. Number one is the schedule, but number two is there are all these one-score games. And so this year we made 2 plays. Next year we don't make the 2 plays, and so we lose 27-23 instead of winning 31-27.
And by the way, it's not just it's the Lions. Okay, yeah, we got them coming to town here. I mean, Cowboys Lions on Prime Video Thursday. They've gone out of their way to say, hey, look, this is a prime game. We need to talk about this and get into it. So, I would not be surprised. It's just me if we saw the Packers, take another step. With Ben Johnson being with the Bears, they should be better offensively.
And they loaded up in the offseason for them. They've added a lot of weapons pieces. But see, the good thing for me, if you're Dallas, you catch them early as opposed to catching them later where they've had time to integrate everything they want to do.
Right, he knows what to do. Everybody understands the system. So I think about just when I think of Detroit, if Chicago takes a step and gets better, as they should, and the Packers do, and as Minnesota regresses to the mean, I think Detroit will see the same thing. I mean, it's just the nature of football. It's just the nature of the division. We saw it last year with the Cowboys. So, and I also say this, you took over for Nick. Your stories and what you're producing is different than what Nick did for Dallas Cowboys. Because it's just You're just different people.
Right.
You're both creative and you're doing your own thing, but you're going to bring your spin to it. And how you're going to do it is going to be different than Nick's. And so that to me is when it comes to calling plays and all that kind of stuff. Man, that stuff matters as a coordinator.
Yeah.
And then how do you, and this is the beauty of what Norv Turner did. Norv knew how to communicate in a way Shula just didn't do. Even as Shula left the Cowboys and became the head coach of the Bengals, Norv just has this ability to connect with people, and then you just kind of look throughout his career. How many running backs have had the Norv touch, man, from LT with the Chargers and Ricky Williams in Miami and Frank Gore with the 49ers? I mean, Norv just had this thing where he could communicate with offenses and backs and go next level. And I think Ben Johnson, I'm expecting Ben Johnson to make Chicago better.
Yeah, the Bears are going to be really good this year, I think. I mean,
if he's that guy.
Yeah, and so how quickly does he do it?
Yeah,
that's the next thing too, because this head coaching thing is interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I ain't the biggest fan of the Philly coach, but he's good. And I remember he got hammered his first year. They made the playoffs his first year. He's grown and he's gotten good, and now he's got a Super Bowl ring. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes, man. This is fun stuff. All right, let's hit our first break in here. I want to go into this first game because it's at Philly. Is this an advantage to get them right out of the gate? And now you know what you're going to do the rest of the summer. Let's do this next with Tommy, Jacques, I'm Newy. This is the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof backpacks. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes and next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Nate Newton from Hanging with the Boys, and Wingstop is here to bring the flavor to game day as the official wings of the Dallas Cowboys. Order now by downloading the Wingstop app or order it online at wingstop.com.
Hey, Cowboys fans, a 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Cowboys football games or to any other live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. They sure make game day special, and for every purchase of the new Tyson Cowboys Nuggets this holiday season, Tyson Foods will donate $1 to the Salvation Army up to $100,000. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash, sponsored by nobody right here on DallasCowboys.com. I'm Newy Scruggs, got Jack Taylor, got Tommy Yards here. Breaking down this Cowboys schedule as it's been released. We know exactly what they're going to do. 3 games on NBC. We got 4 Thursday games, 2 games on Monday Night Football. Basically, the Cowboys are doing all the big games. There right now, and it's pretty interesting. There's only 4 noon games. And... No, 5.
5, yeah.
5. But
I love a noon game, man.
This is going to be the Sunday game, the Chargers noon game. I wonder if that doesn't get flipped on Fox.
Oh, it might. It wouldn't surprise me if it did.
Yeah, because I'm expecting Jim Harbaugh to be good. I'm expecting this to be a good football team.
I got Michigan hate, so I mean, you know. It is.
And so that's one where I could see it flip. The others are going to be early in the year. The Giants is a noon game on Fox. Giants bad. The Jets, they're bad too. That's a noon game, October 5th. And then after that, it's a noon game against Carolina Panthers, October 12th to Charlotte. So I could see those 3 games staying at noon, but I could see the Charger game getting flipped. And, of course, the Thursday game will stay at noon, Thursday, December 25th, Christmas Day, because, you know, it's a Netflix
Jesus'
game.
birthday.
Well, you know, they got their slot. And actually, if I'm the Cowboys, give me the noon game so I can go ahead and play the game, get on home.
Yeah, get on the
You
plane.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you got to play, that's what you'd rather do. Like, hey.
Because they'll be home by 7 o'clock.
You know, if there's no overtime, just get it done and move on.
Oh, no, there's no overtime. We're going for 2. You didn't know that? On Christmas Day, he go for 2. No OT. No extra football for y'all.
We got the 325 game to get to. Netflix going to make it go for 2.
Yes. So they opened the season September 4 at Philadelphia. The Cowboys have done this recently when Tom Brady and the Buccaneers were world champions. They went down to Tampa, played the game, close game. The Cowboys kicker was terrible. It was Erline. Anyway, I was there for that day. Like, really? I mean, it's like to go through, you spend all this time at camp getting yourself ready to go, your kicker go out here and do this. I mean,
And he was a good kicker.
Was.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like it was some rookie you didn't expect to do it. We got a veteran solid guy, and then you got what you got.
Yips are a real thing for them.
Dude, for kickers, hey.
When they get in that, it's hard to get out of it.
When they get 2-3 left, it's like on to the next one. They ain't pulling out of that.
Bones Fossil was that whole year kept trying to
man. Even we've seen it around here. Chris Bonio, Richie Cunningham. Richie Cunningham was 98% for 3 years, and then everything was left.
Fell off.
Dan Bailey,
Mr. Automatic.
Mr. Automatic for 6.5 years, and then everything. So you're right. When it
takes one slide. It just takes one slide.
And this becomes all mental, then they can never get it back.
And
so enjoy the current guy you have.
Brandon Aubrey, yes.
For as long as you can have him.
Yeah, as long as he's kicking him from 80 yards out.
Because when it goes, it goes. And John Fossil compared it to a golfer.
It is.
And he said, hey, man, once it goes, it goes. I mean, I think about Jordan Spieth. I mean, for a minute there, Jordan Spieth was the hottest dude out there.
How about David Duval, baby?
David Duval.
And I could go there.
I mean, they're playing. No, I never doubted you on that. They're playing the PGA today out in Charlotte, North Carolina. But it's today I'm like, oh yeah, Jordan Spieth, because I did the Nelson a couple weeks back, and it was Scotty Scheffler. It was amazing. Yeah. But it's like, oh yeah, Jordan's here. Oh yeah,
cool. Thanks.
Cold product, baby. Cold product here. So Eagles, September 4. Vegas has the Cowboys as 7-point underdogs right now. Tell me, in your opinion, how much does it help the Cowboys to possibly be able to win this game, considering you now know what you got to do to get ready for this one?
It's definitely a good draw just because it's the first game, and the first game of the year, you're not really yourself. You never are going to be. There's going to be some rust that you've got to knock off, or you're trying out different things. You've got a bunch of new pieces. It'll be the first game that George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb play together. So, but Dak Prescott showed in his career that when he comes through a season-ending injury and comes back, he usually plays pretty well in his first game back. Can that continue? And I think I'm a big believer in the mental aspect of games. It has a lot to do with things. If you've got to sit there and watch your division rivals hang a Super Bowl banner, if that doesn't get you fired up as a competitor to go out and play a little bit harder, then I just don't think you're a competitor. So I think you catch them at a really good time in terms of the first game of the season. So that might make things a little bit closer. But at the end of the day, you do look at, okay, who's got the better football team? And I think Philly's got the better football team than Dallas right now. So it's going to be a tall hill to climb, but it gets a little bit easier just because you get them right out of the gate, I think. So you've got a better shot. But that doesn't mean it's an easy shot, or, okay, this is an easy upset pick or anything like that. They're going to have their work cut out for them.
I think it's just a good measuring stick, just like that game with Tom Brady in Tampa was. And Dak, I think, told Brady afterwards, we'll see you down the road. I think you're going to see Philly, but, they got Jordan Davis. They got their offensive line. They got their quarterback. They got their terrific running back. They got everything you want. That's why they're the champions. So at the end of the game, I know people get mad at this. This particular game, it's not the end of the world if you lose. It's much more important how you play. Right. And at the end of the Tampa Bay game, nobody was like, oh, they have no chance. You're like, oh, okay, you played a good game. You lost. Now you don't need to lose number 2, but it's all. You look like you can play, and that particular year they could play.
Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, is gone from Philadelphia. He's now in New Orleans, so that's one thing you can look at there. I will say this from covering this team and covering Philadelphia. When they won it the first time, I knew they wouldn't repeat, because they were still celebrating this thing. Mm-hmm. Everywhere you went, it was reminders, and it was like, we won. I mean, fans were still off that high that they finally won it. I'll be very interested to see how does this group and how do they handle it this time around? Are you still going to keep celebrating this thing, or are you going to say, okay, look, it's happened, let's go? That to me is the very interesting thing of how do you do it. Tom Brady, being Tom Brady, had been through this. And I thought Tom was such an engine of how they functioned in Tampa Bay. So how does Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP, Saquon Barkley, guys who weren't there when they won it that first time around, how do they as an organization handle this? How does Nick Sirianni, being a head football coach who's now a Super Bowl champion and no longer has to endure the folks at WIP saying you can't do this, how did they handle it? How do you relax a little bit? So that to me is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, it's a big part of it. And, I think Jalen Hurts, obviously, he seems like the type of level-headed character who's just, next order of business. And so that approach, I think, is what he'll take. But, they've been kind of on that victory lap still. And, we've seen Saquon Barkley doing a lot of different things. And so you bring up a good point, and that's part of the mental aspect of the game, right? Does Philadelphia come into this game thinking, all right, we're still better than them. We've still got a better roster. This is going to be a cakewalk. And by all means, with their roster, they have every reason to. I think it was 75-13 was the combined score of the two games last season. They have everything they need to play that well again. And Dallas having Dak Prescott back healthy makes it a completely different story. And Dak is 9-4 against the Eagles in his career, but it's just the mental aspect of. I think for Dallas is, okay, well, they've got a chance to go in and play spoiler. Brian Schottenheimer's got a chance to make a statement in his first ever game as head coach. So they're going to be ready for this game, and it's the first game of the season, so you've got 2 extra months to prepare for this game more than any other game on your schedule.
Yes, sir.
And there is no other team that you know better than Philadelphia. So they've got a real chance here, but again, it's still a tough hill to climb.
The most fascinating thing about Philadelphia to me this season is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, fantastic year last year, 2,000 yards. Looked like he was playing college football at the end of the year. Every game he's got a 60-yard run, a 70-yard run. But the man has turned 28 in February. So the question becomes, and he's coming off a season with 378 touches, which is a big number in today's NFL. Will he be super Saquon this year, or will he revert to the mean?
Yes.
And because traditionally running backs fall off a cliff at 28. And so will he be Adrian Peterson? Will he be, I'm having an old man moment. Who's our great King Henry? Derrick Henry? Will he be Emmitt Smith? Will he be that guy? I'm not mentioning Frank Gore because I think he's a stat compiler. But will he be able to maintain that he's an elite running back? Because their offense is built off of him being an elite running back, because the quarterback is not an elite passer. But he becomes an elite quarterback when he can hand it off, and you have to respect that. And now we can pick and choose when we want to throw.
So speaking of another Philadelphia legend, Rocky, and
and that's not the one I thought.
This is too young for you. You weren't born. But in Rocky 3,
well, thank Creed.
when Mickey says to Rocky, "You ain't been the same since you won that belt."
Yeah,
and that is the key when you have championship teams on opening night. Are you still hit the rings? We did this. Are you still in celebration mode while the other team is licking their chops, waiting to come ahead and kick your championship tail? And if you're Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, you've been here before. Hey, we played on one of these before. We know what the atmosphere. This is if you're Schottenheimer and the Cowboys, this is a perfect opportunity for you to try to play spoiler. It could potentially be there. Will it be there? We'll see. But that's the thing where if Philly's not ready to go, if they still celebrate popping that thing, what happens? Because last year, that's the one thing I have learned being in this business long enough. You climb the mountain, you planted your flag. You have to go down to the bottom and start and work your way all the way back.
That's why it's so hard.
Exactly. That is why it is so hard to do. In a town like Philly, where it's the ultimate reactionary town.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, too, is let's say Dallas wins this opening game. Do then they become all right, we beat the Super Bowl champs. Like, we're going 17-0 this season. Of course, that's, maybe a little dramatic, but you've got to come back home and beat the Giants at home. You can't. That one game doesn't define your season. Right?
Sure.
It's the first game of the season. You're not going to be, your identity is not going to be found entirely in that first game. So can they be level-headed enough if they do pull off a win? It's going to be an emotional win. It would have to be against Philadelphia. Do you have the level-headedness and the culture that Brian Schottenheimer's emphasized so much to us throughout this early parts of this offseason to be able to stay level-headed and go back to work the following week and beat the Giants?
It's 10 days. It's not even the
It's
following
10
week.
days
It's 10
off,
days.
exactly.
You get 10 days off.
You've got to sit on the high of that victory, though, for 10 days. So can you be prepared to come back and come home? So you can either stay on that high or you can, ride that high for a couple of days and then, all right, we're right back to work. So I feel like it can work both ways. In terms of, okay, is Philly a little bit riding too high on this?
Sure.
Dallas ride too high on this going into the Giants game. So, it's an early test for everybody. And how's Brian Schottenheimer going to have to handle that? Either way that things go in that first game. So in the nitty-gritty parts of this, it's an interesting case study.
It's a big game for your quarterback, too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Big game for the quarterback and potentially a big game for the guy I expect to be the highest paid defensive player in football, Micah Parsons. Let's hit the break, come back, and talk about something that was a pretty good point they made on the Players Lounge about why you want to get him signed as soon as possible. Tommy, Jacques, I'm Newy, Media Mash, right here, DallasCowboys.com.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash here, schedule releases out. Got the author Jean-Jacques Taylor here. Got Tommy Yarish from DallasCowboys.com. I am Newy Scruggs here. Hey, Arizona comes to town Monday, November 3rd. It's Kyler Murray on Monday Night Football. Kyler Murray has an incredible record over at AT&T Stadium from the time he was playing at Allen High School. And
he ain't playing Skyline that week. He playing Fort Worth, Arlington Heights.
Well, according to
South Lake Carroll.
According to Vegas, this is a 7.5 Cowboy win team. It might be. It might be. I'm worried about that game. I'm telling you right now, I'm worried about that because Kyler Murray is a witch for the Cowboys to deal with, man. He just is.
How many times has Kyler Murray played the Cowboys? I don't even remember because Josh Dobbs was the witch in the last time they played.
Hey, man, look, Kyler,
Kyler Murray is just
Kyler in that. If the game was in Arizona, I'd feel better. But Kyler at home, man. Kyler feel good. He's comfortable.
What is Kyler Murray?
I don't know if he's
Where's Kyler Murray? Is he like the 18th best quarterback?
I don't know if Kyler's ever lost at AT&T Stadium.
I don't think he has.
In his whole career.
I don't think he has. But, okay, you can say he might.
I just asked the question.
No, look. Whatever
is he a good quarterback? I'm not even being funny. Or is he an average quarterback? Because it seems average to me.
in that building, he's great. And sometimes you just got somebody's number. Can't do nothing else, but sometimes you just got their number. Ken Norton, for some reason, gave Muhammad Ali the worst trouble he had.
I thought you were finna say USC. I was like, I don't remember those games. I forgot he had a famous daddy.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right. And then got knocked out by Big George and Frazier, I think.
Right. So I mean, it just sometimes, Bart Scott used to say, styles make fights, especially in football.
This is true.
Kyler Murray has just been a guy who's given them challenges, and especially from the defensive standpoint, the Cowboys, who already have had issues the past few seasons stopping the run, then you add a quarterback who has the ability to run on top of that, it has been an issue. Yeah. That has yet to be solved under Matt Eberflus. He may solve it this year. We don't know. But right now, when I see a Jalen Hurts, I see a Jordan Love, I see Daniels of the Commanders, I see Kyler Murray, I get worried because these are the kind of guys who can buy extra time and use their feet a little bit, which are troublesome for the Cowboys. And while Micah Parsons, and I wanted to bring this up after the point, hopefully they get Micah Parsons signed. If this thing gets done so he's at camp and he's ready to go so you can go beat Philadelphia. But that's how you can kind of neutralize a guy like Micah Parsons a little bit because you got a quarterback who can move.
Yeah, and you're talking about having somebody's number. Cowboys haven't beaten the Cardinals since 2017.
Ooh.
Last 3 times they've played was in 2020, Cardinals 38, Cowboys 10. 2022, Cardinals 25, Cowboys 22. And then 2023 was the last time they played. Cardinals 28, Cowboys 16. So
Obama was president.
It's been a while. It's been eight years since the Cowboys beat the Cardinals, but obviously things are a lot different from that 2023 year. And I mean, I wasn't working here in 2023, but I remember how it's kind of like, wow, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys by 12 in that season. But it's one of those. That's a week 3 game. So it's one of those early season games where you're still trying to figure things out and you don't really know what you are sometimes, and that's when it catches you. So this is obviously very different considering it's the week before a bye, and you get an extra day off because you go to Denver on Sunday, and then you get a Monday Night Football game the week after that. So they'll be a little bit rested. And this Cardinals team is very interesting because they've got so many different pieces, like Paris Johnson Jr. on the offensive line, where you're still kind of, he's been good, but he's kind of like, OH. And speaking of OH, Marvin Harrison Jr. on the outside, he's just an absolute freak show and one of the best receivers in the class last year. Can he take that next step? Can both of those guys take that next step? And I think JJT brought up a good point. How good is Kyler Murray?
So, Jacques, this. Everybody, you get the schedule, you start writing down W's and L's. Every year, you see a team like Arizona, I shouldn't say every year, but whenever Arizona's on the schedule, Cowboy fan Norton, they just throw it out a W. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that.
You got the L down there?
I got the L down there because Kyler Murray's a witch. In that building, Kyler Murray is a witch in that building. But, they're not good enough to sit around here. I said, Cowboy fan, this team has yet to show you that they're good enough that you're going to get Arizona.
If you're going to do a true schedule thing, man, you got to pull in one game that you think they're going to win that they lose, and that would be the Cardinals. Then you got to have one that they win that you like, that should be a loss. But you say everybody's got an upset in their bag, and everybody's got a game that they shouldn't put in their bag. And that's how you come up with a true, accurate.
I got the Philadelphia game. I got them beating Philadelphia at home.
I think they can beat the Lions. I think what we were talking about earlier, when you got as many changes as they do, two of the most sought-after head coaching candidates, and Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, and they both leave, it's a tough hill to climb over. I think that can be one where they go on the road and surprise some people.
Yeah, I'll look at one here. Denver will be interesting.
Yeah.
Denver going up there to Denver after a Commanders game at home. Bo Nix had a good rookie year, surprising rookie. I did not think Bo Nix would be that good.
Me either.
How do they handle it? How does Denver handle now the expectations? It's still a tough division. That's still that AFC West is a hard division. So how does Denver and what do the coordinators do, across the NFL? And now they've got tape. Hey, what is it this kid does well? What do we take away? And how do we go? So I'll be interested to see how Denver ends up responding because they had a good year last year, but can you do it again? That's the toughest thing about this league. Can you do it again?
Yeah.
That and I didn't do it on this, but I always like to go through and look at the quarterback play. Like which games do you think your quarterback has the edge? And if he plays well, those are games you should win, and then see if they match up.
All right, Tommy, you got a win total?
It's tough because I feel like this is a schedule. Well, hold on. I'll give you one. It's a schedule where I look at it and I say, okay, since we don't know what this team is, you got a first-year head coach. I think you can get anywhere from like 5 to 12, and I wouldn't be surprised. Anywhere in that range, I wouldn't be surprised. I look at this and I see 9 or 10. I think
I got 7 at a possible.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. 7 at a possible. So, and that possible is the last game of the year at the Giants.
Yeah.
Do you want to win it or not? But I just think this is a tough challenge. Vegas has them at 7.5 points.
Vegas on their win total has been within a game and a half in 9 of the last 13 years. So they're usually pretty on it.
So I just think I still have questions about the defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Being able to stop the run. The corner situation still, is a question for me. And then we kind of have to flush out and figure out what is the running back. And then left tackle. So there's still issues. I think this team could be maybe 2 years away from having the kind of pieces they need to get rolling here. Once again, we could be shocked. But right now, just initially writing this out without more additions, without training camp, without us seeing exactly what
preliminary win total.
Preliminary right now, I say 7 if possible.
Now, my preliminary win total last year, was
you were on point.
No, it was like 6 or 7. And then I got up to 8 when they added 2 fat guys. This year, I'm starting my preliminary win total at 9. Now, you want me to tell you the biggest thing in this season, and he gets mad, is it's quarterback's health.
It's true.
Like 3 of the last 5 years, he's missed substantial time. And it doesn't matter whether it's a finger or a calf, or it doesn't matter what the injury is. It's like Anthony Davis. Don't nobody care if it's a foot, an abdomen. All we know is you're not playing. Corey Seager right now, great player. All we know is.
But same with DeMarco Murray. DeMarco would get mad when people would ask him the question. Yeah. It was like, dude, you're hurt. Even when he won Offensive Player, you got hurt. So it just is what it is. So, hey, man,
if you could get Dak for 16, 17 games, then, yeah, they should win 10 minimum.
Right.
His history shows you that they'll be in playoff contention.
But if he's going to miss 4 1/4 of the season, then they're going to be sitting around 7, 8, 9.
And you don't have Cooper Rush to back him up this year.
We got the youngster, and we'll see whether he can play or not.
We'll see which youngster it is. That's what we got to have camp for. I'm not going to just put Joe Milton in there yet.
Well, I was going to say they did trade for him, but, they trade for a lot of pieces they don't use around here sometimes.
All right. Jock Taylor, appreciate you. Tommy Yarsh, man, we appreciate you coming
in.
Make this not your last trip, all right? We appreciate you. I'm Newy Scruggs for Chris, Joshy, everybody here at DallasCowboys.com. We will talk to you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?